Hello again, everyone. I am calling this video Pilot Parallel. Will it fit? Question mark. So I clearly did not wait to see if you wanted fun combinations for fountain pens before filming this one. So I hope you're on board with that. But I did want to show you the different pens that I have found that the Pilot Parallel will fit on. For those of you that don't know what a Pilot Parallel is, it comes in a body like this. This one happens to be empty, and it is essentially a calligraphy nib that comes in this pen body. And then I will go ahead and show you before, I'll tell you what all of these are shortly, but they come in various sizes. And then from here on up, this is what's normally in here. And they're really nice because they're easy to clean. You can totally take it apart, and you can make some really fun effects when writing with them, etc. So why take them out of their original body and try to put the nibs on other pens? So first off, I think the Pilot Parallel is a little bit ugly, just as it is. The biggest reason, though, is I really don't like not being able to tell what level of ink I have in the body. So these three are not demonstrator, but these three are. You'll be able to see the level of ink in them. You can eyedropper fill this to have a larger capacity of ink. That's the other reason why I would want to do this, is to have a larger capacity of ink. But you can dropper fill this, but again, you are kind of hampered by the fact that you can't see how much ink is in the pen, especially just like this. So you can take, you can take the cap off, you can take the nib off and look inside to see where you are ink level if you don't have it dropper filled. But I wanted to find a solution that would allow me to see the amount of ink in the pen better, and if that failing, if I can't find that, to find something that's a little bit more fun to put it in. So I think I have achieved that. I have achieved both goals with various things here. So I'll tell you what these are here in a minute. I'm going to put these off to the side because those are sort of one-offs of these are the other pens that this will fit in. So this is the body, the body that I have used here is a Pilot sign pen. So I will put a link down below to this particular pen that I am using for all of these. So what you can do is sometimes, so this has the whole nib unit itself. Okay, so this is one thing. It's a little bit tight in here, which is why I have not dropper filled these, because the threads do not fit exactly on here. But I essentially took this whole thing. It's a different nib, it's a different color here. But so this normally goes in here, and then the cap goes there, and then here you are. But with this, I took the whole nib unit off and put it in here, which will fit. The threads, like I said, are not an exact match, so it's a little bit tight to get in and out, but it works very well. They don't dry out, at least not that often. Let's see if I'll prove myself wrong today. They fit in the cap this way. You can also just take this nib unit out, which you would pull from here, and so essentially this plastic bit would no longer be included. You can fit this into an Opus 88 pen, but the pen itself for Opus 88 is not cheap if you're going to be doing that. These are a little bit less expensive, well, a lot less expensive to do this with. And I also like the fact that they don't have this long funky shape, which I've never been a big fan of. Because if you're writing with this, I don't know why they decide. I mean, maybe this is a calligraphy pen thing. I don't know. But I kind of like the fact that these are a little bit more compact. And I could, in theory, dropper fill them, but I have not yet, so I don't want to tell you that that would be okay, because there still could be some leaking. That's my only concern. So I was planning on using them this way, and if I felt like I needed more ink, then I would try dropper filling like one and see if I could do that, because I would definitely put silicone grease on the threads there and go from there. So at some point I might do that. The nice thing about these is you can see how much ink you have available here. So these two actually have the original pilot converters, which I have to say, I you know, hate is a strong word, but I border on hate them. Basically because I can never get a full fill on these, whether I fill it through the nib or whether I fill it by itself, I can just never get a full fill. So what I have resorted to for these is just dropper, or not dropper filling them, filling them with a syringe, with a blunt tipped syringe, because that way I can get a full fill, and the syringe is pretty easy to clean out. It's not too bad. And then I'm not fiddling with it the whole time. So these I filled with a syringe, and those are just the converters that I already had and was using in these, because the larger size pump converters, which I think those are the Con 70. Ugh, I can't remember. So I think this is the Con 40, converter 40, and then the Con 70 is the larger one. They fit in like custom 74, pilot custom 74, and they have a really large reservoir, and I actually like those quite a bit. But they don't fit in these. Unfortunately, nor do they fit in these. So, so the capacity problem has not entirely been solved with these, unless I drop or fill it, which try at your own peril, but I think it would work. But since I haven't tried it, I can't attest to that. But the nice thing is I can see how much ink I have, and then if I have to replace the ink, I at least know when I'm running out. So these two have the converters in them, and then these two I used empty cartridges and filled those with ink. So the capacity is actually larger on the empty cartridges than it is on the converters. Which kind of begs the question, why am I using these converters? Probably because I had them and I didn't want them to go to waste. So that's why I was using them there. But eventually I may either put converters in these or dropper fill them. So there is that. So like I said, I will put the link to this Pilot sign pen, which works for this purpose. I was really stoked when I found that out. Where did I find that out? I think I was kind of doing a little bit of a Google search, you know, which pens will Pilot parallel nibs fit in, and this is one that came up on like a Reddit group or something like that. So this was really an exciting find. So I will put the link to that below. I'm going to test all these for you a little bit later in the video. So you can see those still a little bit there. And then these three were kind of one-off pens that I discovered also fit. Oh, looks like I have ink somewhere. I don't know where I have ink. It's always a little disconcerting. Oops. And then I picked up a napkin off my desk, and it had, it still had a nib wrapped in it. Hold on. Okay. So, yeah, so I'm wondering if that was just sitting on the desk or what. Okay. So this is it's a brand called On a Whim Woodworks that is on Etsy. I will put a link to them below as well. The only caveat with this one is I think that this is an older model, because I will show you. This is one I purchased fairly recently. This one I purchased a while ago, and I think that it actually is threaded differently. So the current ones do not have the same smaller threads, I believe. Actually, let me go ahead and try this. That actually has a special nib on it, which I plan to show you at some other point, but not today. Okay, so let me see, because this fits perfectly in this older On a Whim wood. Yeah. Oh no, it fits. Okay. Yeah, so the threading is still the same. Excellent. Okay, that's good, because I hadn't tried that. So, because I was a little concerned. Let me see if the cap still fits. Yes, the cap still fits. And this one is actually kind of nice because you can see through. Okay, excellent. I'm glad I confirmed that. However, the body of the pen is a little bit bigger. This one is a little bit narrower. I actually prefer the larger size that this is. So I was kind of happy to have this as a fountain pen for its own purposes, but I was a little concerned that the threading might not still work, but apparently it does. And I've tried other pen brands, like custom pen brands, and the nib unit did not just screw in. It would not work. So this is the only brand that I found that will work. I'll put a link to this shop on Etsy as well. And with this one, this is actually a special parallel nib that I purchased that was ground to a curve there. And I'll show you what you can do with that when we go to the testing phase of these. And then I have a different converter. This is a Whim converter for I believe a 698 model. I'm not entirely sure. I'll put a link down below to these. But this is also another great find because I discovered that this will fit into Pilot pens. So as long as it fits in the body of your Pilot pen, it will fit in the actual nib unit of any Pilot pen. I have tried these with a variety of pens and it works. The capacity is a little bit bigger than the Con 40, which I detest. And like I said, it will fit into some pens that will not accommodate the larger Con 70 for Pilot. So that was kind of a nice find. It seems like there is a lot of compatibility for certain parts between Whim and Pilot. Okay, so there's that, and then you'll see this again when that comes out for the testing. And another pen I found that worked is actually all of my Benu pens, all of my Euphorias, and then this, which is a Benu Parrot Pen. The nib unit will just simply screw on, and I'm using that same converter here. So, but I could, I guess in theory, dropper fill these too, but because I can't see inside, I have the same problem I had with the original body, is I can't see inside. So I just opted to do that. You can see some of the ink here, but it's not really an accurate indication of how much ink you have. But this I can unscrew and take a look and see how much ink I have left. But these are kind of fun pens to have that in. And because these converters have a larger capacity, I won't run out of ink as often. And these converters do not actually fit in the Pilot Parallel either. It's because of this taper. It doesn't fit the taper. So, which is why you have to use either the teeny tiny little Con 40s, which again, I detest, or use a converter or a cartridge, sorry. Okay, so the last one I have here, this is a Pilot, this was originally a Pilot Falcon. So I have since put my Pilot Falcon on another fountain pen with the use of a flexible nib factory housing. So it's not on the original brand, but the pen itself is actually quite nice. This is just a standard black one, but I was kind of lamenting not being able to use the body itself, and I was trying some different nibs in here and realized that the Pilot Parallel does fit. Again, it's just that nib unit. These are all using the entire nib unit, and this is the same converter, just in a black rather than a white. I will put a link to those, like I said, the Whim converters that I'm using. Okay, so let's go ahead and close those up, and then I'm going to get some paper out. Oops. I'm going to get some paper out and do some testing here for you. So this is my Galen A5 fountain pen ink test setup notebook. I will put a link to this as well. I'll actually put a link to the video where I go through this setup so that you can see it. I'm basically just opening it up so we can get to the Tomoe River pad that is in here. I want to do it on the pad because I think the softness of the pad will actually help me with these nibs a little bit. So we're going to do these first. And these are just what you're going to get with a Pilot Parallel. So it is nice that they post so you can have a very comfortable writing experience. This is the, which one is this? This is 2.4. 2.4. And this is Chez Herbin Emerald de Chivor, but I am not going to. Actually, let me zoom in a little bit so that you can see that a little better. I'm not going to write out the ink name because it's a little hard to actually write with these. And so that's the 2.4. These are all, I think I have all of the available sizes here. So this is, let's see, okay. So, and I think it's probably the ink more so than the pen itself creating some little hard starting issues. So this one is, let's see, that is 3.8. Is that what that says? Yeah, 3.8. And I think that this is Troublemaker, either Petrichor. I think it's Troublemaker Petrichor, and that does tend to be a little dry. And it could also be the ink getting stuck up in the converter like that. So that's another reason why I'm not a big fan of these converters, is because the ink does tend to get stuck up at the end of the converter. So I generally tap it and then it comes back down. And then after that, yeah, after that you tend to have a better time with that. Okay, and then this next one, this is the standard largest size, which is a 6.0, I think. Yeah, 6.0. And this is, I believe, a Colorverse ink, but I can't remember which one it is. It's might be Mystic Mountain. It might be what this is. It has a little bit of sparkle in it, so, and I was having a hard time with other pens, and it works great in this parallel. And then this is one of the newer sizes. New is kind of relative. This is 4.5. As you can see, these did not have any trouble starting. I do think it's that Petrichor ink. So this is 4.5. And I think that is Sailor Studio 123, I believe. And then here is the one in this little parrot pen here. So it does post, and this is just kind of fun. The reason why I put the smallest nib in here, which is a 1.5, I believe, yeah, is a 1.5, is because, oops, this one must have a drier ink too, is because then I could actually try and do some regular writing with this one. The 1.5 is the smallest. So you could actually write with it. It would still be fairly large writing. And I believe that this is Diamine Gold Star ink. Okay, and then let's do this. No, that's the special one, so I'll save that one for last. And then this in the Pilot Falcon body here. Yeah, and this is Sailor 162, I believe. And then this nib size is 3.0. And I am usually using these for fun headers for things. I'm not really big on calligraphy, which is kind of ironic since I have all of these. But they are kind of fun for making very interesting looking headers to things. And for these super shaders, they shade really nicely. I'll put this up to the camera before we end here. Okay, and so this is the last one. This is a curved parallel. It started off as the largest, the 6.0. And what's nice about this one is you can get these sort of rough edges here. And you can get smaller lines or broader lines or really narrow lines. You get a lot of character with this, and depending on where you hold it, you can get, like there's not working so well, but there you can really get that rough edge. So you could kind of grunge it up here. And you'd have to play around with your angle as well, but that's kind of fun. I cannot remember which ink this is. This is clearly a green shading ink, but I don't know. Ooh, I can't remember. I can't remember what that is. I apologize. If I remember, I will put it in the description below. Okay, so there is a testing of these different Pilot parallel widths and that fun curved one there. And I think I got this at Toronto Pen Company, the curved one, but I will take a look, and if I can find where I got it, I will put a link to that as well. There's a couple of different nib grinders who will do this for you. I've thought about trying it myself because actually you can probably, well, you could do it with like a belt sander, and you might even be able to just do it with regular sandpaper, but it would take quite a while. But basically, you know, you would just be rubbing until you, in a certain manner, until you get that curve. And then you'd have to clean out the slit, obviously, because you'd probably get gunk all in your slit there. Gunk all in your slit. That is a nib thing, a fountain pen nib thing, nothing else. All right, well, that's all I had for you today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Feel free to ask me any questions below if you had any questions about any of these. Like I said, the only thing that I haven't really done to test these out is eyedropper them. So I may do a follow-up if and when I ever actually end up doing that. But for now, I'm just getting out of this really ugly parallel, and these are also more compact to fit in cases and things as well. So there you go. All right, well, I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.